I struggled a lot in school, and I always believed that my academics was some way tied to my self-worth. I always believed because I have low grades, it means that I am not good enough. It means that other people is better than me. Also, like when I was growing up, I have a cousin, she was like very smart, and my aunts and my uncle will always like give her money, or if they're giving her something, they will give her way more than me because I was the slower one and she was the smarter one. So because that happened to me at a very young age, I always feel like if I get a bad grade, it means that I don't deserve anything really. Mean that if I get a good grade, it means I deserve everything.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Meta Transitions. Today we have with us Kayla. She is a fellow YouTuber and her YouTube channel is Shameless Kayla. Welcome to our channel, Kayla.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's always great to collaborate with other YouTubers. Tell us then, Kayla, what is your transition story?
My transition story is about how I struggled during school. So I remember growing up as a kid, and I didn't really have my mom or my dad around, but I struggled a lot in school, and I always believed that my academics was some way tied to my self-worth. I always believe because I have low grades, it means that I am not good enough. It means that other people is better than me. Also, like when I was growing up, I have a cousin, she was like very smart, and my aunts and my uncle will always like give her money, or if they're giving her something, they will give her way more than me because I was the slower one and she was the smarter one. So because that happened to me at a very young age, I always feel like if I get a bad grade, it means that I don't deserve anything really. Mean that if I get a good grade, mean I deserve everything. But then as I grew older, I begin to realize that me not having a good grade does not determine my self-worth. I can still do anything as anyone else. But the only thing is I would maybe take more time and that I have self-worth. And I remember I was watching this movie, was Aquila and the Bee. And when the poem was, our greatest fear is not that you're inadequate, but because you are, but your greatest fear is because you are powerful beyond all measure. And sometimes we have worth, we have capabilities, but because of our surrounding and what we're told, we believe that we can actually do it.
Yes. Thank you so much, Kayla, for sharing that. You know, I'm even inspired just hearing what you're saying, because, you know, I even recognized that for myself when I was growing up. I don't think, you know, mine was attached to grades per se, but definitely attached to how I looked versus how others looked. So definitely can, you know, relate to that idea of, you know, self-worth being diminished or feeling like you're nothing basically without sort of the validation of others. And specifically for you, it was your grades. And recognizing within these stories of how others within your life can, you know, I guess, encourage you to do better, or they could discourage you and make you feel less than in a sense. Okay. All right. So tell me then, you know, I guess you did sort of share that when you got older, when, you know, at what point in time, and, you know, maybe what sort of instances sort of gave you the indication that you were, you know, smart, that you could do different things, and that, you know, maybe you were just a little different in the way that you learned from others?
Yes. I remember it started when I was in Form 5 back home. I was supposed to do CXC. And I remember I was normally some people do 10. I was allowed to do only 6 because I thought that I don't have the capability. So my mom was like, she was a bit upset. One of my principal, she dropped one course thing. That was social studies. She was saying that she's not going to allow me to do it. So my mom told me to do it outside. You can do CXC on your own, right? So my mom, she bought the module. So I studied everything because the module tell you what you'll get. And funny enough, I decided I'm going to do the social studies CXC, and I passed it and I got a 2. So that was where I started to realize, okay, you know what? I can do it. I was able to pass CXC without actually doing CXC at the final exam. And then I don't know how come my teacher heard about it. I never forget her name. Her name is Mrs. Hector, right? She was a principal of business. I remember because I went to a Seventh-day Adventist school. So we were having morning worship, and she asked me to come in front of the classroom. And I was like feeling so inferior. And I'm like, I don't have a good grade. Why is she calling me? And then she gave me a gift and said, I wanna congratulate you for doing CXC outside without anyone help and passing it. And then from that, I started to like develop like, okay, you know what? I may take a little while, but you know what? I can actually accomplish it. And then when I did CXC, I did 6 and I only passed 3, and I didn't pass English, and I didn't really get into the college I wanted because I needed English, right? So, and then I find what I did was I went into this bookstore and I bought this English book. And also my teacher spoke to my mom, and she said, because when I was there, at a very young age, my mom wasn't there. So I remember I lived with this lady, and she lived on a farm, my cousin, and she wouldn't really send me to school. I would just stay there and work with her. So like she was saying that she realized that I am smart, but just that because you don't have a certain basics, right? Some of the words, the grammar will be incorrect, right? So she was saying that. So after school, she would like explain me to different grammar, when to use what. And then she really helped me. And then after I finished high school, that was when I really like reading, because then I realized, oh my gosh, like I want to pass my CX. You were saying English is your first language, like how you feel, but there are different components of CX English, right? I remember I got a 4. So my mom was like, you got to keep trying. You know, my mom, I never could tell if she was disappointed. I could never tell what she was thinking, because she never expressed any like disappointment or your waste of time or waste of money. She just always said, you know what? It's not how you start, you know, it's how you end. And then I did the CXC, the English over the first time. I failed. I was like, oh my God. Then eventually the second time I got a 2. I like, okay, I finally did it. I went in. I actually went to an extra, remember his name was Mr. Brown. He did English guy. He's really good. He's a very funny guy. And he will just really good. And then remember one time I read the essay, he's laughing like, what is this? And then it was so funny. The first time someone like commented on my work, and I didn't really feel funny because he just laughed and he's like, okay, I'll help you, but you're gonna sit down, I'll do it to you after. And then he was really patient and he was really kind, you know. And then after the exam, he was like, don't worry, I believe you'll pass. And then when I told him I got the result, he was really happy, because I never used to like to ask questions because of growing up. If I asked a question like, oh, you're so stupid, you don't know that. So for me, getting like help was really, really hard. So maybe I could have done better, because I hate to show people my work because I was really scared of the criticism. Because remember, even when I lived with you, I used to ask you for help. Was like, I'm like, okay, let me let Tricia look it over. Maybe look it over, it will be perfect, right? So and as I grew older, I started to realize that asking for help, there's nothing wrong. Like, how would you know if I write something wrong? How would I know if it's wrong, right? So then I started really asking for help. And also remember when I came to Canada, I wanted to like get into science. I wanted to be a doctor.
Of course,
I wanted to be a pediatrician, but I was like the maths, like my brain is not cut out for maths.
Okay.
Like I did pre-calculus and I kept trying and I failed it twice. Like I just couldn't do it. So then I started doing courses in psychology. And I've had B and C's, but I never got A's. But then when I did psychology, it's like I loved it. And then I studied a different development in children and I really love it. I was very intrigued by it. And that was when I realized I found something that I really, really like. And it's like, that was one subject where I've always done good. And because I realized it's something that I like, because you realize that, that everyone is different. Everyone's capabilities is different. Yeah. You may do good in maths and I might do good in English, but that doesn't mean that you're better than me, right? Yeah. It means that we have different capabilities. So I realized as I get older and going into studying psychology, I also realized that everyone is just different. The mind works different, and that I reach a level in my life where although it took a very long time to get here, I reached a stage in my life where I have no need to be ashamed of being slow, because there's nothing wrong. Slow progress means there's still progress, right? Yes. So I reached that, like, it doesn't matter where you are in life, that you can still accomplish your goal, and it may take time, but you really have to believe in yourself. And also you have to be your own cheerleader. Yes. That a lot of time people are not going to believe in you. People are going to have their different ideas of who you are and what you can accomplish, but you're actually the only person that actually knows what you can really accomplish in life. Yes.
Oh man. Wow. I just love listening to you. I was like, okay, can I just keep talking? Say even more. That is great. Now you're such an inspiration, right? And this is really the content that's on her YouTube channel. You'll hear a lot more of sort of this inspirational, motivational message. To go and like her, videos, watch her content, and subscribe, because you're going to get even more of this little snippet that we got today. So based on what I heard from you, Kayla, there were so many different pieces of evidence eventually that showed you that, the grades are not tied to your self-worth. You were able to recognize that asking for help was important, and realizing that you needed to maybe become a little vulnerable and, sort of expose that maybe a little bit of a weakness that you had to be able to get the help to strengthen that weakness. Yes. And recognizing, as like you said, studying psychology, you realize that people are just different. People learn differently. Yes. And it's not something that should diminish you as a person. It's something that you should recognize and work on, and then recognize that, we're just people here, living, and believing in yourself over time. You were able to get support from your family, your mom, not giving up on you. Yeah. And I want to also say that I had a similar story with chemistry. So chemistry, math and chemistry, I failed as well for my CXC. Sorry. So, I had to do both of them outside of school too. So I graduated, and then I had to repeat both of them. Yeah. And I did do very well in math after. So I think I got a 3 in math, and then I had to redo it, and then I got a 2 afterwards. And chemistry, I also repeated, but for some reason I forgot to go to one of the chemistry exams. So I failed a second time. But but what I did realize, as you said, was that, it's not based on, I guess, how you did. It's based on sort of, the effort that you put behind it. You recognizing what you needed to do, how much you needed to work, and what, in what capacity. Yeah. As you said, your capabilities. Yeah. You're able to recognize what your capabilities are, and then by being able to recognize that, I was able to identify, what worked for me and what helped me to learn.
So. And also, I what I am appreciative of, like the teachers that I had, like I've never had one teacher told me that I am too slow. I've never had that. They always told me, you can do it. You have to work harder. I've always had, maybe because it was a Christian school, but I had that inspiration. I remember I had one English teacher, she would stay after school and help me. So I had the encouragement in my life. I remember when I graduated from high school, I got a gift for the most improved person in class. And I remember I lent someone that book, but kind of upset I don't have that book. And in the book, it wrote, with your level of determination, you can go anywhere in life.
Oh,
and
that.
For me, I didn't expect a gift. I was like, you're slow. But I think it teaches that showing up and showing the effort, that's what important. Also, I had a maths teacher. He always said he preferred to work with the slowest person in class than the brightest person. I think they knew everything. Had this one guy in my class. He was very smart. He will let all of his friends do his work. And they will get like C's and he would just get A+. He was just that good. He would talk in class and everyone would do his work. His friends would write his work, but he never fails. But he was very rude and disrespectful. And I remember one time he looked at his report card and he got a C and he was like, if he could have burned down the school, he would have. But the teacher told him, talent is not good enough. Like, your altitude determine your altitude, and you can be smart and you're rude, you're not going to get anywhere in life. So, it shows you that your attitude also, like once you're willing to seek help and once you're willing to show up and do the work, that you can make a mark. You never really know where your influence will spread.
Yes, definitely. And I could see how, that seed was planted the day you got that gift and you were called up in front of the school by, that principal, and you were rewarded for the effort you put in, when nobody believed in you.
And not only I was able to, I did a speech for teachers, thanking teachers. So I was like, why would they ask me? I never remember my teacher pulled me aside and said, could you do the, on graduation, the tribute thanking teachers? And I was like, and I felt like I didn't deserve it because I knew I struggled in school. So but then I realized, you know what? Not because I struggled mean that I don't deserve it, right? So then I did it and it was it was good.
Nice. Yeah. And I could see, that sense of transitioning from, a mindset of I'm not good enough to a mindset of, I can do this, if I'm able to put in the work, my attitude is positive and there's hope, then I can also do this. So just wanting to sort of point that out that, transitions are not just, physical, like moving or career or, it could also be a mental thing where you're transitioning from a place of, thinking negatively to a place of thinking positively about yourself.
Yes.
Thank you for being here, Kayla.
Thank you.
And for sharing your story.
Me. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
All right, everyone, please go and subscribe to Shameless Kayla. We will be putting her YouTube channel name in the box below. We hope you enjoyed our video today. Thank you.